it's only going to come up right at the beginning of the run, so I'll make sure to explain it. But yeah, colorblind mode is on, and that's the only setting here that's changed. So, like, this is the default stuff. I'm actually going to do one other thing. I'm going to change a control, and I'm going to bound pause off of the return key, because I don't want that. That's going to be slower for something in a little bit. But, alright, I'm ready. And since this is the last run, I'm going to edit the timer, because time starts when I gain control of the character, which is 31 frames after you click the button. So, or the timer. So, or after you click the third text box, rather. So I'm going to set it to -52, and then I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is kind of a game. This is kind of a story-based adventure puzzle game, where basically what I'm going to do to save time is menu optimally and just move optimally in general. The first thing I need to do is get to that password. If I was playing with colorblind mode off, there would be colors, obviously, but the numbers would be colored on the TV, and not only would that make the first puzzle much harder, but it would also add one text box that would mention the colors. It would mention, like, the colors on their TV remote. But not having to see that not only makes the puzzle easier, because it's literally just put the numbers in order that you see them, but it makes it faster by one text box to play with colorblind mode. And here, we did some puzzles to light a fireplace to get a basement key, to get to the basement, because that's what you do with a key to the basement, is you unlock the basement door. I feel like that's obvious. But now we're in the, now we're in the basement, we get the light bulb. And the light bulb is very important in the story of this game. It is the sun of the world, which is something we're supposed to learn. I'm just going to spoil that now because we actually skipped the text box where we learned that. Alright, so I have to equip the light bulb there because you have to use the light bulb on this door to leave. And yeah, there's going to be a bit of a fade here, and then I can go through here. And we are in the Barrens. So the Barrens is the first major area of the game. There are 3. Ness, can you change the game title and commands? Because I realized I didn't do that. You don't need to change the on-stream command, just the title in the game to change to OneShot. So this is the main area. Once we get outside, we have the ability to fast travel, which is kind of where we open the menu and we choose a screen to go to, and it sends us to that screen. Each screen has a name, and each screen also has a default fast travel point where we can fast travel straight to, where whenever we fast travel, it sends us to a certain point. I just text crashed. So what happens in this game is you can click yes and no on some text options at such a time that the game doesn't know if the game thinks you clicked both to the same text option and crashes the game. Fortunately, the game autosaves, so I don't need to worry too much. It's just slow. As you see, I lost like over a minute from that happening. But I'm supposed to have a visual cue there. ProfitBot, that character spinning around, is my visual cue to slow down on my mashing, because I'm supposed to menu soon after that happens. But it's been a while since I played this game, honestly. I've spent a lot of the last month practicing a different version of OneShot, because this is the Steam game, but there was also an original freeware release. I just realized, I said this to Shadow before my run, I've only text crashed in a marathon during a Solstice run, and every Solstice run I've crashed on, it was during a cutscene with ProfitBot. So the streak continues. Alright, now I'm supposed to talk about the computer, because the computer gave me a text box where it read my computer name, and it referred to Nico as Nico, like as if it was not talking to Nico. So yeah, it's weird. I did not mean to talk about the world though. Alright, there we go. So now that that's done, I can go over here, and I'm gonna take a nap in the bed. This is a main mechanic where you need to sleep in a bed, and that closes the game. That saves the game. It acts as a weird story-based thing. But yeah. And then we have a little chat about our dreams. And then, alright. So we want to leave now. I'm gonna get the metal pipe. I'm gonna go to the outpost. The metal pipe is important. I'm gonna equip it. I can equip it at any point after getting it, really. But I'll just equip it right now. Okay, and then this is a trick coming up. This is super fast travel, where basically what I'm going to do is, as I mentioned earlier, whenever you fast travel, you have a certain point on the map that you can go to. And every screen has a certain fast travel location, where basically every time you fast travel, you get sent to the same point on the screen. And so sometimes it's faster to fast travel off the screen once you obtain the ability to fast travel to it, and then fast travel back on it. And that's going to be faster than walking to where the fast travel sends you. You can't do it on some screens. Sometimes it's slower. Right here, like this screen does not have a fast travel point. You can't fast travel indoors. You can't fast travel to a screen you're already on. Here I messed up a thing. I was supposed to go to the right side of that rope because I can run, but Silver can't. So Silver had to walk an extra tile, which, walking a single tile in this game takes 8 frames, and running a single tile in this game saves 5 frames. So that trick, by talking to the left side of the rope, I lost 3 frames by watching Silver walk an extra bit. But there I went to the mines, got a camera, had a little bit of story exposition. That's going to be important later. So here I'm going to take my crowbar that I got from the metal rod to open up this, and then I'm going to do a bit of crafting. I'm going to pop the lens out of this camera. I'm going to make a broken battery, and then it's going to be an empty battery using the lens, and then I can charge it using the sun. I already charged it. I don't know why I tried charging it again. But then I can equip the battery, and I can take it up to this generator. Yeah, I'm fortunate enough so that the game does not actually show my den name, but instead shows an old username of mine. So I need to fast travel here. I need to fast travel to the cliffs. And when I talked to that computer, it created a document, a notepad document in my documents, on my computer documents, that I need to, has the safe code. There you go. So you can actually guess the safe code before this point, but it actually will not work. You need to power on the power, not only to get the safe code, but the code literally does not have a passcode until you turn on the power. The computer at the beginning of the game that I needed the, you know the name of the thing, right? The TV remote for. That one, actually, it's possible. It's extremely unlikely because it's a random guess. But that code is generated at the start of the game, so if you're lucky enough, you can actually, like, guess that one without the use of the TV remote. And that would save time if it was RTA viable, but there is no manipulation in this game, so as that we know of, at least. There could be. That we just don't know. So, alright. But there's a gas mask in that safe, so we can go to the gaseous areas of the Barrens, which include the old factory, which I already got a sponge and some gloves from, and here's the shrimp swamp. Alright, and then we got an empty syringe in the dormitories, which we can use to fill this with some water. And then I don't want to equip a light bulb, I want to equip the bottle. Yeah, on a good run, I should be out of the Barrens right now, but I crashed and lost like a minute. Alright, and then I need to do more crafting stuff. So this is the optimization in the game, is you minimize the amount of times that you open the menu by basically getting as much stuff you can for a set of crafting, and then crafting it all in one swoop. Again, it just reduces time that you have the menu open by reducing the amount of times you have to open the menu. Because for every time you open it, you have to close it as well. So yeah, now we clean the robot, and he's stuck, so we have to go to the lookout point and talk to Silver, who has something for us, which is the Amber. The Amber is a major item. We'll learn about why later, but for now, she won't let us leave the house until we play a game of chess in her favor, or to repay the favor for giving the Amber. Technically, in this version, we do it for an act of generosity, but in the original version, she makes you play the game. But even if you try and leave the house, like, even if you don't reinitiate dialogue with Silver, like, if you don't play the game of chess and then get to the door, Nico will start the chess conversation anyways. So it's faster, because the chess conversation sends you to the table on the other side of the room, and also you can just keep mashing instead of having to stop mashing to start walking over to the door. So we play the game of chess that way, and then we're on our way with this cutscene. So yeah, this cutscene, usually cutscenes in this game, like those types of cutscenes, you can mash buttons to skip the cells faster. Like, that's also true for the dream cutscenes that we saw earlier. But for that one, and for some reason only that one, that one scrolls on its own. The enter area cutscenes are also ones that scroll on their own, like this one you're about to see right here. Alright. But now we're in the Glen. So, the Glen is the second major area of the game. Again, our goal is to put the sun, which is the light bulb we're holding, at the top of the tower. And the top of the tower is in the middle of the world, so we're working our hardest to get there. And this is Calamus. Calamus lost his sister and can't find him, ran out of places to look, so we're going to try looking. I tried walking close enough to Calamus there. He triggers that dialogue when you're one tile to the left of him. The height doesn't matter. So what we do is we walk down enough to be close enough to him. If you're 2 tiles above him, at most, he won't have to walk up at all. You can also do what I did and be 1 tile. It's usually recommended to be 1 or 2 tiles, does not matter, because even if you don't move down to 1 tile before the cutscene, you'll have to move down anyways to make it to the gate. And yeah, that's fast, because as I mentioned, NPCs don't run in this game. So, unless they're like following you and you're running, they'll run. But in a cutscene, where the character is told to walk during the cutscene, they will walk. So, basically, that's another kind of minor thing you can do to save time that'll add up over the run, is to activate cutscenes where characters walk in such a way that they have to walk as little as possible. Because as I mentioned, for every tile that you run, you save 3 frames over walking. So, the less walking you have to do, the better. So here's a puzzle. This is what the computer, if you remember in the Barrens in the house, the computer was supposed to give us the answer to this puzzle. However, after the Barrens, there is no more random answers to puzzles. So, like, this puzzle and then the stuff in the Refuge is going to be, and the tower as well, is going to be completely the same as it is every other time. So we don't actually need to do what the computer does. And usually what the computer does is it'll change our desktop background to be the solution to that puzzle. But since I know the solution, I can just run it like that. So we have Alula with us now, which is Calamus' brother that he was looking for. Calamus' sister that he was looking for, even. And so what we're going to do with him is... Or what we're going to do with her is... We're going to return her. But we need to do some other stuff first. And so we're just going to go on a little tour of the Glen with Alula. And this is the ram puzzle. We need to herd these rams. And this is basically like a strength puzzle. If you've played a Pokemon game, if you remember the HM strength that you use to push huge boulders. And you might have had to push them into holes. Or you had to push them to create a walkway. Here we have to push the rams onto the dark patches of land. And by doing that, we get a piece of wool, which we can go over here and trade this guy. Also, I never explained, we don't have the sun with us right now because we gave it to Maze, who was a plant girl who was dying, so that she could relax and the vines would recede, because there was originally a sprout of vines blocking the door to where Alula was. And so now we return Alula to Calamus, and Calamus invites us over as thanks. Alright, so again, this is just walking in cutscene. So for mashing, what I do is I have to hit the cancel and confirm buttons at the same time, because those both advance text. Unlike a game like Undertale, where one of them were actually advanced text boxes and one of them will just finish the text in a current text box. In this game, all you have to do is... In this game, both of them will end the text box if the text is scrolling, and if the text isn't scrolling, it'll just skip to the next text box. So it's just a way to press both buttons faster than you can probably press one on its own. And the only time that really causes an issue is when you have a dialogue selection, because, as you saw earlier, if you're mashing too fast and your timing is like perfectly bad, you can crash the game on a dialogue selection box. So now we have our sun back, we have a golden feather, we are basically done with the Glen, but what we need to do is first get out, so that we can fast travel to the gate. So this is the ruins, we need to go to the gate. Second off, we never slept, and the game makes us sleep once in each area. So I'm gonna do that now. Alright. And here's another dream. And Nico's gonna talk to us about it once again. Which is just gonna be more text, so nothing's happening. Did we ever hit more donations or no? Take that as a no.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be more donations at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, I never made the pen. So what I'm supposed to do is I have to sign a scroll here to leave. And so that I need to use the golden feather I was given and the vial of ink that I traded in the ram wool for to make a pen. So I can sign the scroll and leave. I actually don't think I lost any time by not making it, because it makes you watch a different cutscene before you have to use the pen. But yeah, now we're done with the Glen. We just have to run through these buildings. And we're getting attacked by squares. We learned while talking to Calamus that squares are basically just not good. That's really all they are right now. That's all he knows what they are. We'll learn later in the run what they are, but for now, they're kind of mysterious on what they are. So this is the Refuge. It's the third major area of the game. And the first thing we need to do is go this way. And here we're going to meet a new character. Here we're going to meet the Lamplighter. He's kind of angry. This is a weird screen because it's one of the few screens where we were supposed to have a cutscene like that with Calamus, where it was kind of shadowy and we just kind of heard a voice calling out for his sister. But we did a super fast travel to the forest to skip that. The fast travel point for the elevator deck doesn't exist until you check the elevator button panel, like I did there. Also, you can skip all these cutscenes, but if you don't look at the elevator button panel, you can't if you don't talk to the Lamplighter, you can't check the elevator button panel to see if it's empty. And if you can't check the elevator button panel to see it's empty, the game actually will not let you put the elevator button if you've already made it into the elevator button panel. So even if you could skip all these cutscenes, even though you can skip all these cutscenes and make the button without ever having to talk to the Lamplighter and get the elevator deck fast travel point, not only would you miss out on a vital fast travel point, and it would probably be slower, but you have to talk to him anyways and watch those cutscenes anyway, so it does not matter. I don't know why that's the only thing like that. Also, this area, this bed thing, is, first off, it's indoors, and second off, it does not have its own area on the fast travel menu, but for some reason, you can still fast travel to the elevator deck from there. Even though you think it'd be part of this fast travel deck if it's not, you know, not its own place. But yeah, now we're in the apartments. Because we got a coffee tin from the cafe, and now we're going to get a pair of scissors, and then we're going to go to a different apartment and get some fridge magnets. So that's what we'll need to make our elevator button, because it is a magnetic elevator button. So we need to make a button that we can push, and magnetism will bring us the elevator. So yeah, we're going to take this guy's fridge magnets. We're not going to talk to him, because that's slow, obviously. And we're going to get out of here. I don't think he minds, really. But whatever. You know, here I can fast travel back to the elevator deck. When it comes to these little walkways to the apartments and to the office, it's slower to super fast travel because they're short enough. It's still faster to fast travel back to the elevator deck, though, after leaving the apartments, because walking across the elevator deck to get to the walkway to the office is kind of slow. Alright, so why we need to go to the office is when we cut out the word ground out of a ground coffee tin and then attach magnets to that makeshift ground rectangle. And then we need to tape the magnets to the ground table. And that actually works. However, it makes the elevator not like us very much. So, because the elevator is kind of broken, because the elevator panel was broken, dummy. The button panel was broken. So we need a security code, which is the same thing every time. It's 63014. I accidentally input 63015. Alright, there we go. Which is actually a reference to the original version of the game. I referenced this earlier in the run, but there is a freeware version, the freeware original version of this game, and a Steam version of this game. The Steam version is what I'm playing right now, and the original freeware version did not have the ground portion of the Refuge. You did some random stuff in the Sky Refuge, and then the game went to the final bit. But actually what happens in that version is the elevator code to go to the ground is 63014 is the month, day, year format of the release date of the freeware version of OneShot, which is June 30th, 2014, 6/30/14, 63014. Nice little Easter egg, but now we're in the ground portion of the Refuge, where we need to go do some stuff. We're actually going to do a really specific sequence of events, where I'm going to go to that back alley to get a fast travel point, and then immediately leave it. Then I'm going to walk over here to the library, and then I'll fast travel to the back alley, so that I can walk over to the vendor street, so that I can get that fast travel point, and then I'll do a super fast travel to the library, and I'm going to do one of the major skips of the run. This is Kip Skip. I have, I think it's 7 frames or 8 frames, because that's how long it takes to walk one tile, so pause the game. I just text crashed, again. Which, this is something I've done before. I've text crashed on that text box twice before. So, don't worry, I can just open the text manager, crash the game, and we're fine, because closing the game saves the game. It's a bit weird on how the sequence of events works, and so we can do that to not have to get... We basically played a different cutscene on top of a different cutscene. So that cutscene, that tile I walked onto was supposed to have a, It's supposed to have a trigger for a cutscene, and at the end of that cutscene, the game pushes Nico backwards a tile. And so, by closing the game and reopening it, we started a cutscene while walking onto... We started the cutscene while walking onto the... A different cutscene while walking onto the tile with the pushback cutscene. So it played that cutscene instead of the pushback cutscene. And... Cool. So yeah, that was George, by the way. So this is George. I did not explain George. They are a dice, so they have 6 faces. And this one is George 3. we gave George the journal to translate while we went to sleep. And George 3, each of the Georges have a different personality, which leads them to have a different amount of text boxes and a different type, stuff like that. And this one is the slowest. George 3 is the slowest with the amount of text and ellipses in text they have. And I did not mention how text works in this game. So there's, even when mashing the way that I'm mashing, there's always going to be some sort of pause when ellipses appear in the text. So I have to do some extra mashing to get through the animation of ellipses being in the text. And not only does George 3, I think, have the most text boxes out of all of them, but George 3, being very distraught, has ellipses basically everywhere in her dialogue. But she translates the journal, tells us we need 3 items with yellow phosphor to enter the tower. We already have the golden feather and the amber, so she gives us a golden dice, which is the 3rd one we need, so we can go over here. The game talks about floor patterns, which it's a big red X, so you close the game and relaunch it. And yeah. So this is the inside of the tower. It's kind of dark, kind of confusing. So at this point in the game creates a folder pretty soon in our documents that's going to have a special file. If you find... Oh, I can walk, by the way. I mistaked the text boxes. I thought... Oh my god, you scared me.
Yeah, I'm pretty much dead. Don't worry about me.
Yeah. But yeah. I counted my text boxes wrong, but there's supposed to be a file that appears right about now in my documents that... But if you go into the game's data, like deeper into the files than you're supposed to go in your computer, you can find the file already. And since I already have that file open, I don't need to worry. I can just immediately do this. And I'm actually going to do something really weird for the sake of capturing the game. Is I'm going to rename the file, because a folder appeared in documents. I go, this PC documents my games, and a OneShot folder appeared. Based on the way I'm capturing window capture, it's capturing by name. So if I have that file open and close the game, it'll try and capture that folder in my file explorer. So I just renamed it so it doesn't capture, and I can make capturing the game easier, because I'm using window capture, because when you use game capture, the game stays, like, doesn't show up for like 5 seconds after you relaunch it. But this is the tower. So that program I opened was a program called _____.exe, and it's basically a way that the author, the creator of this world, tries to talk to you specifically, the player, to try and not get you to listen to the computer, because the computer is talking with a character. I'm trying to concentrate here. A character called the Entity, which is basically saying to stop and don't go up the tower because they don't want Nico to be upset. But the author is basically telling us to keep pushing, but the reason why the Entity is doing what it's doing is because... Okay, we're good. Because what's actually going to happen is we've been kind of under the illusion that the whole time that if we placed the light bulb back at the top of the tower, the world would be saved and we would go back home. We've been having some doubts about if it'll actually save the world, but it will send us back home, which is good because Nico wants to go back home. Alright, I messed up this puzzle, so... Alright, well, that's good. Whatever. So, the author is trying to communicate with us that we are actually not able to do that. If we want to return the sun or if we want to return Nico back home, we will actually have to shatter the sun, which will basically instantly destroy the world that we're in right now. That decision on the ending, whether we return the sun or return Nico home, would be the ending of the any % run. But since I'm doing Solstice, which is the post-game chapter and basically the true ending, that's not going to be the end of the run. So, usually when I run this game in marathons, I'll run a donation bid war. I run the April Fool. I submit both the April Fool's Patch incentive and the bid war for the ending to return the sun or return Nico home. For this marathon, I decided to vote for the April Fool's Patch instead of having the bid war. This cutscene, I have to mash with the enter key constantly, and this is the cutscene why at the beginning of the game I mentioned I rebound my controls so that the enter key did not pause the game. And since I have to mash through a ton of text boxes that come from like a Windows pop-up with the enter key, that's why I did that. Alright, so now we're in the final elevator. But yeah, so since I didn't choose to do the bid war for which ending I should choose at the top of the tower, I'm just going to go ahead and spoil right now. I'm going to be choosing the Return the Sun ending because I have to wait until the end of the credits in this run. I have to wait until the end of the credits in this run to, what's it called? I have to wait until the end of the credits in this run to get the file I need in my documents that will let me continue will let me play the post-game chapter. And so, since I have to wait until the end of the credits, it's faster. The credits are the same length, no matter which ending you choose, but the animation before the credits, if you choose to return the sun, is about 15 seconds faster. Yeah, 15 seconds faster before the credits start if you choose to return the sun than the animation for if you choose to return home. So, it's just the one you choose in Solstice because, hey, you don't want to lose 15 seconds. But yeah, this is some credits. So we can just chill for a minute or so. I'm actually gonna head to the bathroom, I think, quickly. Alright, I'm back. So yeah, I need to close the game now and relaunch. There's a fake save progress. Oh, I glitched the game up. Oh, okay. I need to delete this. Okay, so I actually can't do that. I'm having a problem with window capture right now. It's a bit weird to explain what's going on. But basically my strategy of renaming the file did not work. Of renaming the folder did not work. So right there, I just reopened and reclosed the game really quickly. And here, okay, I need to switch the window capture back to the game. So this is what happens when you don't think things through. Yeah, basically that strategy I mentioned is not going to work. So I'm an idiot. So yeah, I need to go back through the title stuff, have this happen again. Alright, and then there's text and G+ stuff, you know. So instead of doing the remote again, the game's gonna make us input Solstice into this computer, which, hey, I know what Solstice is, haha. But yeah, we basically need to do house stuff again. Except we have the journal with us. Which we gave to George. It's back for some reason. It's weird. But I'll get into it as we go later on. So yeah, we're gonna go back through the house, do the same stuff we did to get the light bulb, and then get out. Yeah. Also, for those wondering, when I went to the bathroom, I did wash my hands. So I'm good. I'm healthy. Alright, and then this is... We're going to exit, and there's going to be a little bit of a difference immediately. Make sure. Alright, we're good there. Okay, you want to not do that? Alright, so immediately what's going to happen is... instead of going to the docks like I did last time, I'm actually just going to go straight to the outpost and talk to ProfitBot again. And there's going to be a difference in ProfitBot where I need to actually talk about all the dialogue options instead of just talking about the computer like last time. I need to talk about all the dialogue options. But now it's actually asking about my name instead of the computer because for some reason Nico knows it and does not know why. Basically going to learn that I'm the god of this world again. Does not know what's going on other than that. And then we need to talk about going home. And then the game will realize we talked about anything and auto-cancel the text. So yeah, we're going to keep going. Just unlike last time, we're not going to get the metal bar this time. We don't need that. Gonna do this super fast travel at the cliffs. And just get through the area. Please, game. That happened again, okay. So yeah, then we're gonna do another super fast travel for the lookout point. Talk to Silver again. Silver needs to know that we're here. And then we can just walk right out. And back to the mines. Except this time, stuff's gonna be a little bit different. Because instead of getting the camera, I'm gonna run immediately to the ledge. And this cutscene's gonna happen. This was not the flashback that happened last time. It was just Silver getting scared, but we saw something really weird this time. It kinda was a hallucination. Kinda looked like someone we might know. But now our journal's glowing, which we didn't even have the journal last time we were in the mine, so kinda weird, but whatever. Once Silver... Alright, so Silver mentions that the amber that has a clover pattern that's similar to the pattern in the note journal. But whatever. So now what we're going to do is something really weird. When we open the journal, it opens up a certain point on the map, and there's also a clover here that was not here before. So when we're spinning on that clover and we open the journal, it'll line up perfectly with the map, except for the map in the background, except for one different thing. So in this case, it was a minecart, so it spawned us a minecart for us to use to get over to this area. And while we're on this minecart ride, we're just going to hold right. Silver does not need to be with us, but we're going to have some dialogue here where the entity, like the computer from last time, is now just talking to us because it's kind of confused right now. Because right now is something in the story, and basically the description without spoiling stuff that's happening later is the game does not know where we are right now. This area is not something the game knows about. And one of the computers here still has power for some reason, so Silver's going to look at that and we're just going to wander over here where there's going to be a robot. And this is prototype. This was a prototype to the Prophet bot. That is stuck here in the mines. And this is the character that was in the silhouette. He's going to give us a backup disc. And we're going to just do this puzzle. And then put the disc in the computer once it's done. And the computer is kind of Prophet Bot's memory. And then we'll give it back to Prophet, or this is Prototype. And now Prototype's gonna go on a huge exposition rant that's going to basically going to explain a ton of stuff. Gonna make Nico remember that they've already kind of gone through the game, which we have already gone through the game, so that is true. Yeah, so we're gonna go through some cutscene where Nico's gonna remember everything, basically. And we're going to be explained that this is a video game. And the reason why Nico came back is because the mission's still not complete, even though the sun was put at the top of the tower. And Nico does not take it very well. He thinks that the world is entirely fake, and that we created this place, and that we have complete control of what's going on when we don't actually have control of what's going on. We're just kind of going through the motions. And Nico's kind of a puppet. And so Nico is... We're told to literally just go back and get back to the tower while we can. Because he knows something we can do. And ProphetBot basically tells us that, no, this world's not fake, this is a real place. That kind of stuff. And then we try and go back to the minecart, and the entity talks to us more. A bit confused. Realizes that the author contacted us. And realizes that Nico is not happy, and does not take that very well. That's basically the theme of Solstice, is a character learns something, and does not take it well. So, in the panic of the entity, these squares happen. You might remember the squares from earlier. They still don't really have an explanation yet. They will have an explanation at the end of the run. But for now, we just know that the squares are bad, so we can't use that minecart. And we're just going to try and do this. So we're going to talk to ProphetBot because there's a secret exit behind this computer. And the reason why I like talking to ProphetBot from above is not because I thought I had to talk to the computer, but because if you do this, ProphetBot walks through the door by walking through you. Doesn't save or lose any time to have that happen. It's just kind of funny. And then we can go in this minecart. And we keep moving right for a while. Until about here, where the game starts another cutscene on us. Where the entity basically says, I'm trying to protect Nico, and you're ruining everything, and I'm destabilizing because I'm panicking, because you're just making everything way too hard on me, and the ground starts shaking again, because why not? And the screen fades to black, and it fades in, and Silver is in pain. And gets that happen, and that's not good, and yeah, no. So yeah, that's happening. So now we're just told to run. So I'm going to do a skip here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in the middle of doing that, I'm going to close the game. And what I did there by closing the game and reopening it was on this trigger, on this tile, there was supposed to be a cutscene trigger that would trigger a cutscene where Prototype dies, basically. But we skipped that cutscene by going there, and we actually skipped getting an item. We skipped getting the disc, because what happened was Prototype knew that if he was dead, it would not be good, so he gave us a backup disc. And Nico's not taking anything well. We actually skipped a cutscene there where Nico was, like, sitting in the minecart depressed. And, alright, here is another skip. I'm supposed to talk to a different character to get access into this part of the ruins, but by walking and doing another of the reload skips there, I can skip that tile. And now I just need to go through here. And a few routes of the ruins are blocked off. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over to... first thing I'm going to do is go over here to the place with the stuff in it. Well, this is where Maze is, if you remember from last time, except now Maze is controlling the vines to try and support the village, because the village is falling apart up there in the Glen, with all the squares and stuff not doing so good. Maze is trying to use the vines to do one last push, and I actually was not supposed to go to this cutscene yet. I'm not in... Okay. That's my bad. So that's going to be a waste of time, because I'm going to have to walk that twice now, but I won't have to watch that cutscene again. But what I was supposed to do was go over here. Again, been a while since I've done this run, and I did not de-rust on this run because I was focusing on playing a different version of OneShot instead of doing Steam Solstice. So, here we meet Calamus and Alula, whose house is gone. Because squares. So, they're going to lead us to the courtyard, and we're going to follow. And so once we're in there, they're like, yep. And we go back here, and we go here to this dock, and this happens, and there's another flashback kind of thingy. So there was a character, so we get to mash again. And light, the thingy lights up again. Yada yada boom boom. And explains basically like, oh, this happened in the Barrens, but it happened again, so I'm going to step on this clover and open the journal, and it's going to create a boat out of thin air. But hey, we have a boat now, so let's go over here. That was some good water. Alright, and then we can access to the graveyard, which similarly to the back of the mines, this is the Solstice exclusive area for the Glen. And in this area, we meet Cedric. Cedric is the hallucination character, similar to how Prophet Prototype was. I don't know the names. And so we're going to talk to him. He's going to explain about flying and squares, and Prototype isn't there. And he knows we have a disc to get Prototype back. We still have that. No, we actually never got that because we skipped the cutscene where Prototype dies. But we never have to use it, and the game doesn't care if we don't have it because it gives it to Cedric anyways. So it actually does not have any bad effects. Unlike, there's a way to skip the safe in the Barrens on the original time through, but if you skip that, you skip the journal, and if you skip the journal, you soft lock. Skipping the memory disk has no bad side effects. So now we're just gonna go back here. We're supposed to go here early. We were not supposed to go here earlier. We were supposed to watch that first cutscene earlier, but we can do the second one now, where we have to have the vines extend in a final push of energy where Maze dies. Maze died in the last one, but now this death is a bit less natural. There's a side quest that is the difference between 100% and any percent in this game, where you can actually like replant Maze to kind of continue her species, but not in this. Nope, not here. Actually, I'm supposed to run this way, right? So now what I need is to fix Cedric's plane so we can go to the city and get Prophetbot a new body, or Prototype a new body. I'm gonna get them right one day. To get Prototype a new body, and also probably like save the world because they know what's going on. We're going to have to go over to the research facility. First, so what we need to fix the plane is a battery and some gears. If you remember in the Barrens, we made a battery, and if you make that, you can actually remake that battery for this. We can actually do normal game events up to that battery and charge it, and the game will actually let us do that. I can also just go to the forest now. The game will actually let us do that, and it's kind of like a good feel thing because you don't have to power down all the robots in the Glen, but it's faster to literally just go and get that battery than it is to, you know, go all the way through Barrens up to making the battery. And then we talked to the trader guy from earlier who gives us a music box because the music box has gears in it. So that we need those. So now I get to do this. So now I just need to present the music box and the battery to Cedric. And then we just need to sit here. We just need to keep him company while he fixes the plane. So we get explained to the third character of the Solstice trio, Rue, who is a fox. You could have seen a flashback of Rue in the original playthrough of the game. However, using a fast travel, if you remember during the Refuge, I did some fast travel strats where I did a delayed super fast travel in the back alley. So I skipped the kind of cutscene of Rue. And basically, in this cutscene, Cedric talks about how his dad is the author, who is the creator of this world, and what the world was meant for, and basically about the operator, who is the god, who is me. And then at the end of that, we're talking about how we're ready to go, and then we learn that squares have taken over the boat. So what the plan is since Alula and Calamus can't get back, Cedric's going to take me to the city first, because the city is the place to be, and that, for safety, he's going to come back and take Calamus and Alula to the city so they are safe as well. This is basically an apocalypse right now. Like, it's kind of not very nice. So now Cedric is like, I'll go get him and do stuff. Yep. But now squares cover the plane, so we can't use it again. So Alula and Calamus are trapped to die on the island. So now, with the laboratory that we never went to, and we're still not going to go to because we did Kip Skip, Cedric's gonna look for a new body for Proto. Meanwhile, we need to look for Rue, because we need to bring Rue, Proto, and Cedric together to basically do the thing. And so we go back down here, and the Lamplighter's here. Lamplighter's struggling with the elevator. And so we talk to him. He's like, oh god, the elevator is... Nico knows the elevator's broken, and when Lamplighter asks how we know, we just kind of stare at it. Holy fudge. So now this elevator can't work, so we need to look for a different elevator. How great. So we're gonna go to the office. So, in the office, there's a weird door. We never saw this in the first playthrough. You could go here for the first playthrough and watch a cutscene with Nico, because the game is supposed to kind of like build up your relationship with Nico and the world at the same time, so that the final discussion in the elevator and the end of the game where we learn that we can't save both the world and Nico is even more heartbreaking, because Night Margin hates every single person in the world, apparently. But we go into this room. This is the Solstice room. You can't get in here pre-Solstice. But there's a door, there's an elevator there, and it has a handle, so we might find a way to open the door with that handle. So we need to go out and tell Lamplighter about this, because he's pretty tall and could probably reach that handle. Right? Yeah, that sounds about right. So we're gonna fast travel out here. We're gonna be like, hey, we found an elevator. And then we're gonna take him, we're gonna fast travel all the way to the office. And walk through here. And the door is already open. We don't need to enter the password every time we want to go in. Fun fact, originally that counter up there was a counter to how long until the solstice was. Because they originally wanted to have this update launch during the spring equinox. Because this game came out in, like, December, like early December, so they couldn't have it out in time for the winter solstice, and they did not want to wait for the summer solstice. So they decided to wait until the spring equinox, and they were like a week late to that, but that countdown was actually a countdown clock to the launch of the update, which was pretty cool. But now there's going to be cutscene here. So Lamplighter got the elevator for us, but is now stuck in that elevator because squares. And this is Kip, so we never saw Kip, but I'm going to do Solstice Kip Skip. So we did normal Kip Skip, where we closed the game and reopened it to skip having to see Kip. Yep, we're doing that again, except on this tile. Because usually if we see Kip here, what we do is a very long cutscene where we're told it's not safe, and we're upset that Cedric's gone, and we have to go all the way to the library and have a very long motivational speech with George and Kip, where we basically say we're strong enough to do what we need to do to save the world, and they cry because it's very inspiring, and they let us go, and then we have to walk all the way to the back alley to have us, to have Rue join our party, so that we can walk back to where we first saw Kip and move on back to the elevator. Because there were two elevators in that solstice room, and although one of them is squares right now, the other is still fine. This is fine. But similarly to Kip Skip, the original Kip Skip, if you didn't activate the cutscene already, the cutscene trigger is still there on the way back. So I need to close the game again while walking onto the tile, and bloop. Nico is already disappointed with you because still does not really understand what's going on with how the world works. So every time you close and reopen the game, instead of having a text box where he's genuinely concerned, it's just like ... Because I think it realizes what you're doing, and it's just like, god damn it. Alright, so this is where Rue asks where Prototype and Cedric, and we basically explain to them that they didn't make it, and that we're ruined. And so we're just told to go upstairs. Let's see, talk, I guess, because Rue likes it, I guess. I don't know. So we're gonna have a cutscene here where Rue and Nico talk together. It's a very pretty scene where they look out at the city. And they talk about how it's kind of it's weird knowing this is all simulated, and basically that the entity only exists because of the world machine, and the world machine is the computer, like literally the computer. So the entity and the world machine are kind of within the same being, and it's very confusing because it's video games. And that the entity is kind of our computer's lack of understanding of the full situation. And here the journal glows again, but instead of actually giving us something important, it just gives us a thing telling us to go to our documents. So what we need to do is we need to place each of these three in the portals. And we got a folder in our files that is called Portal 1 and Portal 2, Portal 3, and Big Portal. And each of them have a notepad that is called Key B, Key G, and Key R that literally just says, put us in the big portal if you open the notepads. So what I do is I take the notepads out of portals 1, 2, and 3, and I move them into the big portal. And what I actually do is, to speed it up a little bit, I take the keys out of the portal one by one. So I take them out of their Portal 1, Portal 2, and Portal 3 into the OneShot games folder. and then I move all 3 at once into the big portal. And then it allows us access into the world machine, which is my computer. And it's basically... the world machine is kind of the computer and kind of the game. It's a bit confusing. But it's basically the thing running the game, so it basically is the computer. And the entity is... the entity is a character that, as we learned in the cutscene with Rue while looking out at the city, the entity was a character used to try and get the world machine to communicate with the player, so that the player did not make Nico upset, because that is not good. It's whatever you want it to be. And so now we're going to have a long discussion with the world machine about the world. And we're basically going to learn about the squares and everything like that. And the TLDR on that is the world machine does not know about the update. The world machine was not notified that the Solstice update came into existence. And it kind of freaked them out when we went to an area that we didn't know about. And so when it panicked, it tried to fix things and just ended up making things worse. And when things were worse and the game got corrupted, the corruption was given physical form in squares. All the squares that have shown up are the game's confusion, are the confusion of the world machine, which is the confusion of the game being run, because it does not know what to do to make Nico happy. It does not know what to do to put Nico in a map that exists in the normal game and does not exist in the update, because you're not supposed to... he doesn't know the update exists. And he's basically convinced that everything is ruined because of him, and he can't do it. And Nico's kind of giving a motivational pep talk where we learn about taming. Taming was also a major theme in the whole game, where basically a robot can't be built to break its code, but it can kind of learn to, develop bonds that can make it do more than just what its code says. And so the world machine thinks it's not tamed, but it is. And so it realizes that it can use its bond with Nico and basically listen to Nico. And Nico says to try and restore the original ending, because what had actually happened was the world machine messed up so much that it actually forgot what the ending was. So it's trying to recreate the ending and send Nico back to the world and save the world at the same time. But before that, we're going to be able to talk to every character one last time in this little credits screen where we run down and read all the credits, and we can talk to all the characters one more time. And yeah. So this is all our characters. This is all the people. That video game. And yep. So we go through here, and it places us back in that room at the top of the tower. And so we get to watch these credits again. Can't really mash through these. I don't know why I'm mashing, but you see the world is actually saved now. The squares are gone because the world is its world. Am I gonna get another Solstice 103 in a marathon? Is this even gonna be a 103? Is this gonna be my worst Solstice marathon run yet? In my own dang marathon? Come on. Give it to me, game. This last cutscene isn't 30 seconds, is it? I don't know. So there's a cutscene where we say goodbye to Nico, and when you say goodbye to Nico is when time is. Alright. And we basically tell Nico that even if they leave, that the world will not stop existing. These people will still exist, they'll be in our memory. That's time. Alright, cool. I got another fucking 103 during a marathon. I'm so sick of this game. I hate this game. My PB is a 59. I don't know why I do this to myself. Alright, so one last thing I'm going to show off is a little display capture secret where I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this so you can see it. That's the video game. I'm actually just going to full screen it once again. So yeah, boom. I like showing that off when I do Solstice and marathons, or if I go for the Return the Sun ending, or the Return Nico ending. But yeah, the game's weird. That's the game. So yeah, press the button and the game crashes. So everyone, that's it. That's the marathon. We've raised $300. $300. So, Shadow, are you still here?
Fine with the men.
I'm dead.
Oh, same. How do you feel about the past 2 days? How do you feel this went?
Fine, 'cause I knew
I have mixed emotions.
really
Yeah, it was kind of a mess to get everything set up, but I'm glad it's all said and done now. It was definitely a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing this despite all the things that happened.
Who she'd choose after all those years.
But yeah.
Yeah, overall it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I always enjoy doing stuff with marathons, and this was definitely not an exception. If anything, I'm excited to get back to normal streaming. Because I've not been able to do that, obviously. And yeah. So, I guess I should announce, I have the Celeste tournament done. So, I have a Celeste tournament now, so the next weeks, I'm going to be doing matches for that. Yeah, I did a Solstice run for Speed Stuff 3, Nest. But yeah, so, yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, that's all I got. So, enjoy yourselves, I guess. I'm gonna host Speed Gaming, because they are having a race after their current Link's Awakening race on their channel. They're going to start Handheld Heroes, which is a marathon I recommend you guys all watch. Other stuff I'm gonna throw out is an hour after that, twitch.tv/1545race, 1545 race, is going to have the 1545. And in 2 weekends, starting on the 27th, is going to be Speed Stuff for Charity 5. So, I'm going to end it on that. Thank you. Goodbye.
It's over, isn't it? Why can't I move on?